Assalamu alaikum class, this is Ramiro Zaman, and today our lesson is passive voice. And before I start this lesson, uh, you need to know that this video is divided into four sections. And after each section, I will ask you to go and do an exercise, which is going to roughly take about 10 to 10 minutes, I think, at most, to do the sentences. And when you've done the sentences, you'll come back and resume the video, which will uh, explain to you the second segment of the video, and then after the end of it you'll go to the exercise again and you will do the second exercise, and so on. It goes on to the fourth exercise until it reaches the fourth exercise. So the exercise are going to be in a word file. That's part eight about the video. Let's start with the lesson. So passive voice. But before we do passive voice, we need to know about active a little bit. Okay, active voice. So active voice is the normal, regular structure of a sentence. That is subject plus verb plus object. Now it seems like very mathematical, so I'll just put it in English. I drink water. So I is subject, verb is drink, and object is water. And then we have I drank water. I will drink water. So subject, verb, and object. However, now if we come to explore the passive side of things, things are a little opposite because the object falls into the, sorry about that. So yeah, passive voice. In the passive voice, we have on top the object, then we have the verb, and then we have the subject. Right. So here the sentence comes out as water here, then is drunk by me. So this is the, by me is the subject, and water is the object, and is drunk is the verb. And if it were in past, then water and by me are going to remain the same. Was drunk is going to be the only change, and if it were in future, it will be drunk. So that is the general sense of active and passive. We'll indulge more into it through a chart. Okay, so the tenses as we know are the active ones, right? Active or passive, the tenses can only be divided into three sections, that is present, past, and future. Those three sections can be further categorized into uh, four further subsections, that is simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Okay, so this is the active tense categorization. But if we were to do passive ones, the one thing that you need to know, we do not have perfect continuous in them. You only have simple, continuous, and perfect. So first, let's just examine how simple structures are. Let's see how let's first see how active structures act. Okay, as we explored in the earlier examples, I drink water every day. I drank water yesterday. I will drink water tomorrow. Okay, so I haven't really written uh, every day, yesterday or tomorrow, because that's not something that is going to have any effect on it. Okay, the only thing that'll be affected in the passive structures are subject and object. Subject here, this is the subject, and this is the object. They are going to move their change the places, as I told you earlier. Water is going to come over here. Um, water and is drunk by me. Then you have water was drunk by me, uh, and water will be will be drunk by me. So water is drunk by me, that is I drink water, and water was drunk by me, that is I drank water, and water will be drunk by me is will be drunk. Sorry. Okay, drunk by me, that is your future. If, for example, if we had I drink water every day, you would have written it as water is drunk by me every day. So if there are any extra details, you could just put it at the end of the sentence, and that's about it. So this is the conversion for the simple category. If you've gotten this lesson, so please pause this video at this point, go to your Word file, and you will have the first exercise, which only delves into the simple category of tenses. I have stated there all the active structures, and what you need to do in there is the passive. Basically, you have to turn the active or change the active voices into passive voice. So I'll see you afterwards. Good luck. Okay, class, welcome back. So I hope you understood everything and you did the simple ones right. So let's now jump into the continuous one. So let's explore the active side of the tenses first, which is if it were in present, we would have I am drinking water, right? And for us, it will be I was drinking water. And for future, it will be I will be drinking water, right? Okay, so I am drinking water, I was drinking water, and I will be drinking water. So here, the passives of these would be oh, sorry, this is not what's going to happen. Water is going to be placed first, okay? That's as we all know, because the object falls on the top of the sentence. Water is being drunk by me, right? And for past, it will be water was being drunk by me. And for future, it will be water will be being. Uh-oh, we cannot do this, right? Because will be being, that doesn't make sense. So yes, it kind of does not make sense on purpose because you do not have future continuous passives. So as we did earlier, simple had three, sorry, not here. Simple had three uh, sentence structures. Perfect also has three sentence structures, present, past, and future, but continuous is the only one where we do not have a uh, future. We only have present and past, and there is no future. But if you notice a trend in here, like in the active ones, you see that there is a consistent verb form which follows the sentence throughout in the present, in the past, or in the future. The only thing that really defines the predicament of the sentence, the condition of the sentence, is the auxiliary with it. For example, I am going to define present, was is going to define past, and will be defines future. But in here, in the passive ones, uh, sorry, but the verb along with it, the active form, the verb does not change. It's ranking throughout, right? So if you were to say, if you can recall what these verb forms are called, these are basically called gerunds. And funnily enough, this is not even a verb. This is actually a noun. But again, when attached with an auxiliary, it becomes a verb phrase. But that's too much detail. But the only thing that you have to know, the soul and the essence of a continuous structure is basically gerund. Okay, so similar is the case with passives, but instead of having a variety of gerunds, for example, where you have here drinking, you could have eating. For example, I am eating my food. I was eating my. I will be eating my food. So here you can have variety of gerunds, but in passive structures there is no variety. Okay, there's only one gerund, that is being. Being stays throughout present and past. And the one thing that you may have noticed, if it hasn't made a trend to you, is in your head, is that there is always the third form of verb. So if you were to say what is the essence of passive, is the third form of verb. Sorry, I'm going to write it a little properly so you know. The third form of verb is pretty much the essence of active structure. Um, no matter which category you're in, which tense you're in, the third form of verb is going to be there at all times. This form of verb is also known as participle. This is the reason why this active structure category is also called participle. I haven't written it over here because participle creates a little bit of confusion for some people. But again, I'm not going to delve into that. That is not our topic today. So yes, this is pretty much the thing for continuous. So this is the second segment of the video. And I hope you understood the concept. There wasn't really a lot of changes. It's the same thing. The only thing that changes is the verb, and the object and subject only uh, change their positions. So you can pause the video here, and you can go to the Word file, open it, convert actives into passives, and come back in a while. Okay, see you. Okay, class, welcome back. So I hope you understood all the concept and you did everything right. And obviously, there were a few things possible and there were a few things that were impossible. I hope you got all of them right. And the thing that were impossible, you were supposed to not do it. So let's jump to the perfect structure now. Here, the sentence structures are in active versions. The subjects at the top and the objects are at the bottom. Let's write the first one in the present form. I have drunk water. Right? Then you have I had drunk water. Then I will have drunk water. Right? Okay, so when we convert these, the conversion is going to be something like, obviously the water is going to be placed first, that is the object. Okay, so it's going to be here the same. By me is also going to be the same as told you earlier, as we did earlier in all of the passive structures. The only thing that is going to change is the passive. And as you had being over here as the consistent factor, in perfect, we have been doing the same thing. So here, water has been drunk. Obviously, the verb form stays the same because third form of verb is followed throughout the passives. And here we'll have had, and here we'll have will have. And everything been stays the same, and drunk stays the same. So this is the structure for passive perfects. The only thing that changes is the auxiliary here, the auxiliary modal verb, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so this is the thing that changes, and being is the soul, it stays throughout the same. And obviously third form of verb is hard and fast rule, you can never change that, right? So this is pretty much it in terms of simple structures. Obviously these structures can either be negative or interrogative. So the only thing that is going to make a difference is, for example, if it were a negative, the statement in the active would be I have not drunk water, to which the replacement would be water has not been drunk by me. So the only thing that you have to include is the word not, which describes the negative opinion, right? And if it were interrogative, then you would say, have I drunk water? And you only push the auxiliary back uh, before the subject, and you're going to do the same. You're basically going to put the auxiliary before the object in the passive structure. So it's going to be has water been drunk by me. So these are that's pretty much it. So this is the segment 3 of the video. So you can pause it over here, go to this exercise and do the exercise, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, class, welcome back. This is the last segment of the video. It focuses on the imperative structure. So before we begin, you first need to know what imperative structures are. So the one thing that the basic imperative structures are commanding structures. It gives you an instruction and tells you to do something. It starts with the verb. Starts with a verb. For example, shut up, stand up, bow down. So in these sentences, and these are sentences, it might just be two words, but again, these are sentences. If you put a full stop at the end of it, it is a sentence. If you have verb in it, it is a sentence. So yes, so these sentences are called imperative sentences, and uh, they are used to give a command. So the structure is very, very simple for it. Shut the door, right? And if you are to convert this into passive, this is the active structure, right? Active. And if you were to convert it into passive, there are two things that you're going to write, let and be, okay? And then you will put object here in the first dash and the verb here in the second dash. This is the object, the door be shut. Okay. For example, if we had a sentence, close the door, then it would have been the door remains the door, and we write closed over here because we always have the third form of verb in passive, which is a hard and fast rule. Okay. For example, if we had drink it, okay, so the passive is going to be it is the object. So yes, so it is going to be put over here at the object dash, and drunk is going to be put over here. So it will be read as let it be drunk. Okay, so there is a very, very familiar structure. It might be very familiar to you guys, which is shut up. My students would be having a sort of like a I don't use this word a lot, but again, uh, yes. So if you were to convert this sentence, it would be shut up. When I say shut up, obviously here we only have the verb. The object is not there. So you need to first see who the object might be. Obviously, if you're telling the person that is next to you to shut up, that is right in front of you, so you is the object. So if you were to convert this one, so let yourself, this is your object, be shut up. An unusual structure, but again, this is correct. So again, no one says it like this, but yes, this is pretty much it for the imperative structures. You will have the fourth segment here. Um, it's wrapped up. So you can go to the file, text file, and you can do the fourth segment, fourth section. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole lesson. I hope you had a productive lesson. You were able to understand all the concepts. And I wish you a very, very good day. So I'll meet you in the next class. The Hafiz, and take care of yourselves.